Some of the best fishing in the world can be found in the rivers and lakes below the mountains of southwest Alaska. A 20-minute flight by float plane and you have your choice of 30 rivers and their abundant rainbow, char, Dolly Varden, salmon, and Arctic grayling. Steve Elmore has spent years in this part of the Alaska outdoors.
I'm a commercial pilot and a guide here in Alaska, and my job is to take people fly out fishing. Cover a lot of territory, about 6,000 square miles in a season, and get in some real good fishing. And I love it. I love to see people out there catching fish, especially when I found the fish. I get as much enjoyment out of watching people catch fish as actually catching them myself. I love that first hauler, fish on. Fish on!
I guess my favorite salmon has got to be the silver because they fight just like a rainbow.
Use every trick in the book to shake that hook.
We're only about 100 yards from the ocean. The silvers are just starting their spawning migration. They just come out of the salt water. This is the freshest they're ever going to be, is right here.
Wow, he's a jumper.
This is the toughest that they're ever going to be. And right here they'll use the current of the river. They'll get their nose behind a rock. They'll get snagged up on snags trying to throw the hook. They'll run towards you. They'll run away from you. They're extremely aerobatic. They'll do everything that they can to throw that hook. And in the process, they'll give you the thrill of a lifetime.
Pull it in. He's going to swim right up on shore. There he is. Double-egg marabou, done the trick. He's a nice fat one. It's a female, we'll let it go.
By releasing the female salmon, we keep the males. By releasing the females, we have a potential of anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 eggs being laid. And that's a lot of fish.
There he goes. Goodbye, and thank you for the fun.
It feels good to release the fish. You've caught it. That's the main thing.
Though some think it might be hard to release an 8 to 12-pound fish, it's not when you catch them till your arms ache. There are only 400,000 people in Alaska, one for every caribou, and half of them live in Anchorage, largest city in our last frontier, a land misunderstood by many.
I had a man call me the other day and asked me a bunch of questions, and the crux of the matter was, when he got right down to it, he wanted to know if we had grocery stores here where he could buy groceries before he went out on his trip. And people think of being remote. Sometimes they think that we're a different country, that we're not even part of the United States. A lot of people think that we have a different monetary system, and that there's a rate of exchange between Alaska money and U.S. money. There's just a lot of misconceptions about Alaska.
People come up here and they don't really know what to expect. They're coming to Alaska, they're coming to a wilderness area, they're coming fishing. Well, they get a lot more than they imagined they were going to get when they come here. Because our lodge it's a deluxe lodge, it's first class. We cook all our food. All our food is homemade bread, homemade soups.
My job up here is a cook and a maid, but it's my purpose to see that their experience up here is not just fishing. When the fishermen come up here, a lot of them just expect to eat fish that they catch and just regular food, nothing fancy at all, and we put out quite a spread. Our turkey dinner always gets lots of praise, and we have a big turkey and stuffing and potatoes and gravy and cranberry sauce, homemade buns.
Like some hot buns here.
I love
it.
Nothing like roughing it in the Alaskan bush.
Go ahead and put your seatbelts on. Anyway.
Alaska is the largest state in the Union. One of its beautiful glaciers is larger than the entire state of Rhode Island, but it has the smallest population. There aren't many people, and there aren't many roads. So when you want to travel, chances are you will need to fly.
The airplane, to me, is the car of Alaska. It's the Alaskan car. There are no roads here. The only way you can get around and get out to the fishing spots is by aircraft. And it's a safe way to go. I feel more comfortable in that airplane than I do in a car anywhere. I think it's the safest way you could travel.
At times there can be 5 different species of Pacific salmon in the rivers of Alaska, including the sockeye.
When I first came to Alaska, everyone told me that you couldn't catch red salmon or sockeye, that they wouldn't bite and they wouldn't take it.
This one's got a lot of power.
Yeah, you can see. That's a number 9 rod.
9 rod, 8 line.
8 line.
Uh-huh.
And then as the years progressed, more and more people started fishing with a fly.
There you go, it's going to run.
And we discovered that sockeye would take a fly, and they're a very aggressive fighting fish when they on a fly.
I don't want to horse this one.
And the farther they get into the spawn and they start turning red, the more aggressive they get. Now, salmon, when they come into the fresh water, they stop eating, and sockeye are no exception. And so when you throw that fly out there, they're really probably not trying to eat the fly, but they're just trying to get it out of their territory. And that's why they bite so soft. They're just trying to push that fly out of the territory. And so you have to just be real close with your hand on the fly rod, and when you feel it, you have to set the hook, and then you've got the battle on then. Nice male, Steve.
It is a nice male.
They're pretty when they turn red like that.
I think they're beautiful when they're in their spawning colors.
It looks like that in caught a seal or something.
I think those are bear marks, bear claw marks.
Well, yeah.
There's, I can get a closer look when I get him ashore. You can see the bear claw marks here. The bear scoops, they scoop them like this. On the other side, there's a couple here. He just barely missed this one. I'll go ahead and release him. Flies out of him.
The sockeye run begins in early July. A month later and 100 miles from the Pacific Ocean, they are bright red. The males have developed a hooked jaw and humped back. In some pools and bends in the river, the sockeye are so plentiful, it seems like you could cross the river on their backs if they would hold still. A big sockeye will weigh 17 to 20 pounds when he leaves the Pacific. A 100-mile swim to the spawning grounds can leave that same fish weighing about 10 pounds.
Hey, Evan, check this out. It's about 11-pounder.
That's beauty.
Isn't that nice?
That's what some of them people want to mount.
Look at those teeth, huh? Look at that. I'd mount this.
I can see why you went back in the woods now.
Look at that.
Afraid of him.
Looks like Jaws. I fired several rounds last week at one, about 8 rounds.
Oh, yeah?
In front of him, close to him, but only had 2 left, so we had to get out of there.
2 for you. You and the passenger, you mean?
1 for me and 1 for the passenger. Okay, Toro,
Yeah.
if the bear starts coming our way, we have to immediately get out of the river. If you have a fish on, just drag your pole in and lay it down and just walk away from your pole. Now he sees this fish flopping over here, and I have a feeling he's going to be coming over here. Now we all have a fish on right now, 1, 2, 3 salmon on the line.
We go to the fishing holes, and a lot of times the bears are there. And they're kind of cute. I mean, they're big, furry, cuddly things. People always think of them as something you can run up and pet, but the bears are dangerous, and they're more dangerous than people really realize. They're extremely territorial, and when it comes down to eating, that's when they're the most territorial. They stake out their particular spot on the river, and they don't like anybody or any other thing coming into that spot. But we have to fish with the bears because that's where the best fishing is. And we always have some kind of protection. We have, I usually carry a revolver, a large caliber revolver, and almost every occasion I have to use it to scare the bears away. I don't want to kill a bear. I like the bears. I think they're neat. But I also don't want to get eaten, so I carry the gun.
I got the world record silver salmon on this bear's harassment. Come on! Get out of here!
And it's nice to know they will leave. On his hind legs, that little brown bear stands 8 feet tall and full grown can weigh more than 900 pounds.
New experience for me was fishing in the same fishing hole with the bears.
Evan?
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen?
No, what?
As soon as you get a fish on that line, he's going to splash the surface, and that's going to be the signal for the bear to come to dinner. And then you're going to have a bear on your fly line.
What's the limit on bears?
All you can catch.
And the world record?
The world record?
On a fly rod.
Oh,
9-pound tippet.
real big.
First cast. Let's get one on the first cast. Fish on! Oh, great. I still got him. No fault of mine, but I got him.
Uh-oh. Now, if that bear starts to come our way, we've got to get the heck out of here. Fast. Now, you got his attention, and that's bad.
Let's say you use flies to catch silvers and then silvers to catch bear. Is that the idea? Had a nice silver on, and silver would run up and down the river and splash, and the bear would keep eyeballing that fish, and I'd eyeball the bear, and finally the bear decided that he'd let me have the fishing hole, and he wandered away. I kept my eye out for him, and if he had approached any closer or that, why, we'd have probably had to get in the airplane or get out of his road, but as it was, there was no incident at all. I'm glad she's going the other way. Leave the fishing hole to us. Okay, swim right on the shore. Other way. That's it. This is the way. That's it. Thank you. Big male.
A lot of times we go into places where there's a lot of fish, but I can only land. It's so small that the only way out is empty for the airplane. In a situation like that, we bring along an inflatable raft. And the raft is means of getting down the river to the mouth of the river, and the aircraft will then pick them up at the end of the day.
I see why I get paid so much to be a guide. I mean, this takes a lot of skill to blow up a raft. A lot of foot action and coordination and stuff like that. 4 years of college and, you know.
We also use rafts to float rivers. We have certain rivers that are 5 to 10 miles in length and make a real excellent day float trip. You get the experience of the rafting and you get the experience of the good fishing, and you combine the two and it makes a super day.
Today was the first time I got to go out salmon fishing, and I've been waiting all summer for this, and I really, really wanted to catch a fish.
Okay, one on the first cast.
One on the first cast, well, I want it.
First cast.
And we got out there and cast it a few times, and I'm not real good at that, but I thought I did all right today. And I got a couple of bites, you know, and I got real excited.
Oh, 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 he's gone. Oh,
That's just catch and release.
oh, quick catch and release, huh?
Catch and release.
And a couple guys are out there fishing, and they're catching fish, and I'm wondering if this is going to take any special skill or talent, you know, and whether I'm going to be able to get one. I mean, they made it all look so easy.
Yeah, I think that's where the last one was.
Yeah.
I hope he comes back. I got him! Oh!
I wondered when I had a fish on the line if I was even going to know it. And I'll tell you, I knew it right away. I mean, this just tugged, and the fish is jumping out of the water and splashing and rolling over and getting the line all twisted around its head. And I felt like I had a monster on the end of the line.
Is he off?
Yep. No.
I don't think so. He's just running right towards you. They'll do that. When they do that, boy, you really have got a crank. If you'd been running the other way, then you'd lost him.
But it was thrilling, you know, and you have this fish on the line and he's jumping around, and that was really exciting to know that I could catch a big fish.
Now see, what happened is the line got tangled around.
And that's the only thing that kept him on.
No, he was still hooked. But that line, see, you'll get along those sharp teeth. And it'll cut the line and you'll lose him.
All summer long, everybody's come in. All the, you know, fishermen have come in and they talk about their fish, and it's like, well, it's exciting, but I could never understand.
I don't like these things that jump. Oh, will he bite me?
No, he won't bite.
Just like they were just high, you know, and today it was like I got to experience that.
I waited all summer for this.
Oh, super.
All right. Oh!
Here's your knife.
What's this for?
Clean them.
Here, you have it back.
It's the full experience.
Is that the full experience?
Yeah.
No, the full experience includes a fresh salmon lunch.
This is the ultimate. Everybody talks about the salmon. You know, you come to Alaska for the salmon, and I love to eat salmon, and then to be able to catch the fish and to eat it, you know, for lunch. I have a shore lunch and eat it. I mean, it's the best, and that's where it tastes the best. I mean, you can freeze it, you can take it home, you can take it wherever you're from, and you can have it, but it's not the same as eating it right there where you caught it.
Fresh caught makes quite a difference.
Who caught this?
Oh,
John?
must have been John.
Fish. Thanks, John.